Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick, and this is your number one non-boring source for personal development. Today on the line, we have Jody Jelas, marketing strategist for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to talk about no BS ways to get everything you want. Jody's website is Jody Jelas, JELAS.com. She's an online entrepreneur. She's been helping entrepreneurs and authors and speakers to grow and expand their business for decades. And we're going to talk about both the mindset and marketing strategies, but more on how the mindset is the foundation for everything else. Jody, thank you for being on today's Full Potential Show.
Thank you very much. I can't believe how much you look like Justin Timberlake. I had to say that.
That's funny. All right, so let's dive in and talk about the mindset stuff. I know that this is the core of everything that you do, and it's been the foundation for the success that you experience in your business. Why is the mindset stuff so important?
It's absolutely, foundation's the perfect word, I think, because I've been studying personal development for 19 years. I remember I was 14 and my dad had just been to John Keogh, a mind palace, and he came home and he was all excited about the stuff, and it's his first experience with personal development. And then he came home and sort of started talking to us about it. So at 14, I went on my first personal development course, which was the teenage version of Mind Power. So you learn the basics like visualization and things like that. So for me, if you haven't got that, your foundation, your mindset, then all of the marketing strategies and everything like that, you're not going to apply them. You're not going to take the actions because you've got all the other stuff that you need to deal with first. But what I do find with people is so often you'll have people who study personal development, but they'll study it to the point where it's the paralysis by overanalysis. You know, they don't take the actions because they spend so much time overanalyzing the stuff that they've learned in personal development that sometimes they use personal development as an excuse that they're not moving forward because they're working on insert area of personal development here. So it's absolutely a foundation, but it's very, very important not to use it as the thing that stops you taking the action, because it's the action that's going to move you forward.
So the foundation is not only the education, but it's the emotional drive, I guess, and getting your foot off the brake, because it's not all about learning, because like you said, you can go into this analysis paralysis, but it's about building the foundation to then move forward and take action, because that's where all the results come into play.
That's right. It's setting the goal, setting the plan, visualizing it, so you run that movie in your head so you know how everything's going to go, and that is how it usually goes. I think it's not just your big picture as well, because knowing your why and your big picture, you've got to start there, because that's also another part of the foundation, and then work your way back. It's like the small steps, you know, everything step by step. You set your path, get your head straight, you run that movie in your head, and not just the big picture, but every day. It's like when you wake up in the morning, how do you want that day to go? Whether it's a weekend and you're spending it with your family, or whether it's a day you spend in your business, you plan that movie in your head of how your day is going to go.
And so what do you do? I mean, what is your routine for really maximizing this mindset and, you know, getting that power and then moving in your day in a way that's powerful?
I think that movie that I just talked about, when I wake up in the morning, I've got 2 young kids, so it's ungodly hours in the morning. I wake up before they do, and I'm sitting there with, I have to keep a pen and paper by my bed, because I'll wake up in the night and I'll have this idea and I've got to write it down. So just before they wake up, I always lie and I plan my day in my head, and then I'll get my notebook and I'll write down the key things that I want to get done. And what I tend to do is I get all excited pretty easily about things, and I get overwhelmed by things as well. So in the morning, I like to write down 3 key things that I need to achieve that day, my 3 most important things. I'll highlight one, and then I'll make sure, and I got this out of the work week, I'll make sure that one thing is done before 10 a.m. Tim was a brilliant tip that I got out of the book. So if you only keep it simple, have your 3 key things, one that you must achieve, and if you only achieve that one thing, if it's the most important thing on your list, then you've had a productive day. Anything after that's a bonus.
Have you read Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog? That's what this reminds me of.
No?
Oh, okay, yeah, it's good. And you're in Australia, right?
New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. Okay, so it hasn't traveled that far. But yeah, eat the frog first thing in the morning, and if you do the hardest thing first, it'll be the most productive thing you do all day, and then the rest of your day will be easy. In other words, once you eat the frog, the rest of the day is easy afterwards.
I love it.
All right, so you've got the most productive thing knocked out in the beginning of the day, and what do you do to continue to condition and train your mindset? Is it the movie in the start of the day, how you want to plan it? Or what are some key things that somebody can start incorporating in their life to get that mindset thing right every day?
I think it's really important to keep going back to the basic. I always think about when I was in London, I played touch rugby. I played it for years, and we were doing really well in the tournament, and we started, it came to the finals, and we got beaten by somebody, and they were really good. So we had to go away, and we regrouped, and we did one day of training where all we did was we went, okay, we're overcomplicating it, let's go back to the basics. And we beat that same team by, I can't even remember the score, but we won the tournament at the end. And that is exactly how it is with, you know, how you can overcomplicate things. Sometimes you just got to go back to the basics. And for me, the basics are like visualization, affirmations, that kind of thing. Sometimes those things get thrashed so much that they start to become cliche, you know, like visualizing. Sometimes people are like, oh God, I hear that all the time. But it's because it's the basics, and you hear about it all the time because that stuff works. So it's important to get back to the basics. And I remember one morning I was having a crap morning. I was thinking, why is this happening to me? Why am I attracting all this stuff? Thought it was only about 8 o'clock and 10 things had gone wrong. I thought I have to reboot my day. And after marketing, I'm probably a designer next. So I went into Photoshop, took an image of the enter key on a keyboard, and I changed it to having a crap day, and it was a big reboot button. And I put that on my screen because I thought it was fun to do. It completely broke my state and snapped me out of it. So then now I have a visual, because I'm a visual person, now I have this visual of this big reboot button. So if I'm having a crap day, I just got to hit reboot, restart the day, and go back to those basics, start that movie again, go back to the beginning of the day and go, oh wait, how's this day supposed to go? And then you can just run that movie again.
It's a great visual metaphor, and I think it incorporates a lot of principles of visualization, NLP, and it allows you to get back to the basics and starting at ground zero again, even if it's in the middle of the day. I think it's great because some people say, oh, I'm having such a bad day, or I can't wait for this day to be over. No, you know, every minute is an opportunity to reboot.
Exactly.
All right, so any final thoughts on how to really develop the mindset so that before we move into the marketing stuff, you've got a real solid core? Is it just the basics, the visualizations, the affirmations? You also asked some positive questions, and then you've got some really great visual metaphors for rebooting and restarting the day. Is this the core, and then you can move into some of the strategies and tactics of living your life and building a successful business?
And this is probably a lead to the marketing stuff, but one thing I always get my clients to do, and it's a familiar exercise, again, it's almost become cliche, but you know how you write down your perfect day? And people are doing it all the time, telling you to write down your perfect day, and it's such an excellent exercise. But what I found, one client, she said she didn't have 30 minutes to sit down, because originally it was sit down with a pen and paper for 30 minutes and write down your perfect day, and in full detail, get all the senses going. You wake up in the morning, what does your room look like? Who's lying next to you? Are the kids coming into your room? What do you eat for breakfast? What do you do during that day? Do you work half the day, then go and do charity work, or, you know, things like that, right to the end of the day, and write it in full detail. So usually I'll say, go get a pen and paper, sit somewhere and just brain dump your perfect day in the future, because it's an exercise that gets you so into knowing what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it smells, tastes like, all the senses going, that have you ever had one of those experiences where you'd want something so much and you'd visualized it so much and you were so excited that this was going to happen, and then it happened and you were like, that's cool, as if, well, I just totally expected that anyway because I've run that so much in my head. I think the biggest achievements is the ones where I expect it to be this phenomenal excitement, but I get there and it's like, yeah, that's right. I didn't expect anything else. So you actually, it becomes your new reality.
Of course it was going to work out that way. I planned everything.
So that perfect day, I think that exercise is really important. And when I get my clients to do it, recently somebody did it, and on the first day she didn't have 30 minutes. She sat down, started writing, and she got stuck. Then she came back the second day, and I always tell them to double space it when they're writing, because then you can come back later on and fill in more detail. And she did. She came back the next day and she put in more detail, because the first day it was kind of just brain dump the perfect day. Then she had 24 hours to think about it. She's in more detail about who she wants to wake up next to, what she wants her day to look like, if it's a charity, what that charity might be that she wants to do some work with. And then if you write that in a book, if you actually get a notebook, which is like your perfect day, you can come back to it all the time, and you're always being brought back to your why. And that if you're having a crap day, it's another way to reboot. You can read back your little book on your perfect day and then go, oh, right, that's why I'm doing all this. Get back on track. And then you can move forward with the actions and strategies.
So have that ideal vision, no matter what form it takes. It could be the perfect day. You have this visualization, this movie of what you want your day to look like. But what I see you doing is taking a step back and being able to see things in advance and try to fill in the detail as much as possible, but at least getting that in your mind so that you're getting it in your core. That's where you're getting your mindset to shift, because your brain knows what you want and what you're trying to create.
That's right.
Okay.
And sometimes things change. The beauty of writing it down in your perfect day is, hey, if things change, you can completely rewrite it,
That's the beauty, right? We're the creator, we are the director of our lives, and we're writing the movie right now.
That's right.
All right, so Jody, are there any final ideas that you want to leave folks with as far as developing that mindset before we I want to give them at least a couple of marketing tips too, because I think that's really where a lot of this out of the mindset stuff, as you go out into the world, marketing is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Mindset thing, the last thing I have to say on the mindset thing is there's a book by Stephen Pressfield called Do the Work. And it's a really simple book. You can read it in 2 hours max. It's really good. And I use it as my Bible. I bought extras to lend to my clients, and I've written all through the book, highlighting things. And he just talks in there about our chattering brains and the things that hold us back and make us stuck in moving forward in our goals. And he talks about resistance and how resistance holds us back. And he also, the beauty of in his book as well, is he makes you realize that resistance is within you and you can control it, but resistance is not you. Because if we do get stuck and we do feel like we've gone off track, and I used to be for this myself, beating yourself up about it. So in this book, he tells you how resistance is in you, but it's not you. So you don't have to beat yourself up about it. And he just takes you through the steps of how to break through that and just keep doing the work, taking the action, which is what I always do with my clients as well. So the book, Do the Work, what I'll do is at the end, I've got a freebie for your listeners. So what I'll do, put them in the drawer as well, and I want everybody to read this book, so I'll put them in the drawer, and some lucky person will get a copy of that book. I'll actually post the physical book out to them too.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about how to get that freebie.
Okay, if you go to jodyjelas.com/full potential, all one word, no spaces or hyphens or anything, jodyjelas.com/full potential, then I'm just going to ask one question there about what's going to hold people back, and then on the next page they'll get their freebie, and I will put them in the drawer for the book.
Awesome.
And the freebie, I'm going to do a video on how to get unstuck. So we've been talking about if you go through your day and you get stuck and you're going off track and not moving forward, like a 5-minute quick unstick on how you can do a couple of exercises, reboot. I'll put that graphic in there as well so you can see the reboot button and have that visual, and then just move forward with the actions for the day.
Okay, great. And before we wrap up, what's your number one marketing tip?
Video, video, video.
Okay.
Whether you're a speaker, author, entrepreneur, video, sales videos. What you're doing here is fantastic, interviewing people and recording it. Anything to do with video. If someone comes and sees me, no matter what their business, I can tell them how they can use video to look at their business, add value to their clients, video blogging, anything to do with videos. And if you're a speaker, obviously you're going to know this one, but just have your speaker reel. So you've got bits of you on stage, some photos, a bit of video you on stage, put it to some music, get somebody else to narrate it. So it's someone talking about you in the third person, and just have that video reel out there, because with my speaker clients, that is the #1 way that they get booked. People see their video and they're pretty much sold.
It's like cloning yourself, right? We're in the age of cloning, virtually.
That is the beauty of the web now. You can just put yourself out there to the world and everybody can see you.
Everybody can see you while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
All right, the website is jodyjelas.com. That's JELAS.com. The freebies at jodyjelas.com/fullpotential. And this is the no BS way to get everything you want. And her freebie is to really help you get unstuck in a video, of course. Jody, thank you so much for being on today's Full Potential Show and sharing your insights. It really is. Whoa,
thank you.
It was really great. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Full Potential Show, your #1 non-boring source for personal development. I'm James Rick, and if you want to get more positive programming for your brain absolutely free on a weekly basis, just visit fullpotential.com.
If you like the Full Potential Show, you're going to love the Full Potential Club. What would you like most as a Full Potential Club member? Be 2 to 3 times more productive? Do what you're passionate about? Have more energy? Reduce your work hours? Travel the world? Enjoy an amazing lifestyle on a frugal budget? What if you could do them all? James Rick has been there and done it in ways that few people have. For anyone serious about taking their life or business to the next level, you know you've got to do more than just watch. You've got to do. Join James Rick and other like-minded people for an incredible $10 a month at fullpotential.com/club. Be educated. Be empowered. Be the best version of you. fullpotential.com/club. Try it free for 30 days.